Ooh, the M60 machine gun. The weapon of choice if you get attacked by 50 feral cheerleaders who are all after you. Well, maybe they lost the game, who knows? And if you have a properly modded out M60, you can take care of them with only reloading a little bit without getting killed, hopefully. And you guessed it, this time we are looking at how to mod your M60. What do you want to put on it? What don't you really want to put on it in order to make it as effective as possible to survive the zombie hordes, or well, when the opposing team doesn't win and they send their cheerleader after you. Hope you enjoyed this M60 walkthrough of weapon mods, and if you have any other specific weapons, armor, or tools that you want me to go through and how I would mod them for maximum effectiveness, let me know in the comment section below. And of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button and everything. I'm also on Discord, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter. Follow me everywhere. So like before, I'm going to go through the machine gun at different quality levels because they have different amount of mod slots. So let's get started here. You might have seen my previous videos. You'll see that I tend to put the top tier mods up at the top and then going down to mods that might be useful but not extremely useful. The M60 is kind of unique in the fact that pretty much all of the mods are actually fairly useful, just in different situations. So there's none that is really bad. Let's do a quick walkthrough of the top tier ones. Magazine extender mod, 50% extra ammo always helps. Drum magazine, double. Ooh, this is really good. You have the rad remover, removes the regeneration ability for 90 seconds, and you have the cripple him, 20% chance to cripple a leg on a bipedal creature. So maybe not for the zombie bear, but you don't really run across a lot of them. Well, or maybe the vultures or the zombies or the wolves or the dire wolves or the boars. Don't mess with the boars, please. Second tier, laser sight. It helps with aiming quickly and increases accuracy when firing from the hip. It actually does. Same with the foregrip. It actually does increase the accuracy from the hip, which means that you have a smaller crosshair. You have the rod and spring mod, which increases the rate of fire by about 15%, and that can actually make quite a big difference when you have a big magazine because you'll be firing them a lot faster. You then come to the bipod and the barrel extender. Now these ones are better when you're doing distance shooting because they reduce the crosshair size, but only when you aim down sights. Muzzle brake, I think it reduces recoil just a little bit. I don't see a major issue with that. Less effective, it can be, but not extremely. Flashlight for any situation. If you're going into a dark building and you don't have a mining helmet or lamp on your helmet, definitely use a flashlight mod. And we come to the silencer, very situational. If you're tap firing, it can be helpful if you don't have anything else, but obviously if you're firing full auto or semi, then it's not going to be really helpful because you'll be shooting a lot of bullets down range and it doesn't silence them then. It only silences when you're shooting individual bullets. Hunter mod, plus 100% damage to living beings, PvP, yep, and of course those boars. If you want to kill the boar, make sure you have this one. You found yourself a quality 1 machine gun and you're really happy even though you might not have a lot of ammo for it. So what would you put on? Now this is, I'm assuming it's early game. You probably don't really care as much about the magazine extender or the drum magazine because you might have a little bit more trouble with getting ammunition. At that point, I would probably put on the cripple him because any shot that slows down or cripples the target is really helpful. If you're fighting it during a blood moon hole, so you're seeing a lot of radiated, then you're probably not low level, which means you probably have a better one. But otherwise, this one might be good. The rest are very situational. If you're going to use it to clear a POI at night or something, put on the silencer and just tap fire. Be very careful. At quality 3 and 4, we now have 2 mod slots, and I would probably still put on the cripple him, and this is where I would probably start also transitioning into a magazine mod. And if you have the extender or the drum magazine, put that on because that allows you to put a lot more bullets inside so you don't have to reload. Remember, the M60 has a fairly lengthy reload cycle. As we come up to quality 5, by then you probably have a fair bit of ammunition as well, so that's less of an issue. So I would put on the drum magazine mod. I would also put the cripple in because that one is always good. And here you can have a little bit of a decision of how you want to use it. If you're going to use it at longer range, put on, for instance, the bipod or the barrel extender. If you're going to use it sort of as an oh shit close-up weapon, you could consider the laser sight or the foregrip, but otherwise if you're seeing a lot of radiated, definitely the rad remover really does help. I would also consider maybe the rod and spring because it allows you to shoot a lot faster. As you see, This one, if I put it on, your rounds per minute goes up. And finally, we found the Quality 6 machine gun. Or maybe from a quest, or maybe you just bought it. But this is where definitely put on the drum magazine, put on the red remover, put on the Cripple M. And now decide what you want to use it for. If you're using it at a distance, put on bipod or barrel extender. If you're using a short range, either the laser sight or the foregrip can be pretty good. The rod and spring is actually pretty good as well because it allows you just to fire more shots in a shorter period of time. So how much does the laser sight and the foregrip actually help? Well, let's have a look here. This is the crosshair with one of them on, and this is firing from the hip. I go ahead and remove it, and you can see it's actually quite a bit bigger. It's like 20-25% bigger. So it's a significant difference. I put on both, and it shrunk even further. So you're going to be landing a lot more shots when you're firing from the hip. And the same thing goes for the barrel extender and the bipod. Look at this. Look at how small the crosshair is. And this is aiming down sight using both of them. And this, now I've removed it. When you aim down sight again, you'll see it's actually quite a bit bigger. So if you're going to be sniping with it, you definitely want to have one or both on it. What about the difference between having the rod and spring and not? Well, why don't we try it out? So this is without the rod and spring. Not bad, it still shoots fairly fast. This is with the rod and spring. Quite a big difference in it. And if you're having a large magazine, well, you can definitely survive some sticky situations a lot better by shooting this fast. And if you notice as well, if you're aiming down sight as well, you'll see the crosshair is really small. It goes smaller the longer you hold out the button. Of course, up to a certain point. You still do have the recoil, so some recoil management is of course necessary. And this is where possibly the muzzle brake might help a little bit. I think the recoil goes down just slightly. I don't see a huge amount of difference, but it does help a little bit. But in general, the M60 is really for just mowing down crowds and hordes of zombies. With the armor piercing, you'll also be shooting through multiple zombies and hitting the ones behind. And you see, this is what the Cripple M does. Look at all these crippled ones. I mean, that's just awesome. This is with the rod and spring. Let's just mow them down. Oh, really nice. It really can take care of quite a lot of them. Well, pretty much like this. The crawling ones doesn't really matter because, well, you can always outrun them, but yeah, shooting them, it works as well. And then you have some nice loot. Oh, okay, maybe, well, some old cash doesn't hurt. What do you think? Do you use the M60 modded, unmodded? How do you mod it? Let me know. But this is really my thoughts around how to mod it and how I would normally use it, depending on what situation I'm anticipating. Either way, make sure you're not on the receiving end of one of this. And then I'll catch you the next time. Well, assuming you're not on the receiving end, because then sorry, you probably will not be around. I'll see you.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.